All right. So I shot some videos. Here a couple months ago, they did the club card buffs where they came through and they buffed some cards. This is when they reworked the Grizzly and made it the awesome club that it is today. And then the week after that, they came out with the club card trading. So I had shot some videos on clubs and I'd left off with rough irons and sand wedges. And then when they did the club card stuff, I thought, well, I'll wait because they're going to change all the clubs. So I just wanted to go back and finish up and talk about rough irons and sand wedges. Now, for me personally, when you first start, you're going to pick whatever club you're going to have limited selection when you first start. And a big deal for me with a low level account was getting the machete. And the reason with a machete is the machete can save you a lot with low level stuff. It's not the farthest hitting rough iron out there at 100 yards. It's basically just a little better than your average short iron. But what it does do with this machete is it's got lots of backspin. It's got pretty good ball guide for a low level. And it's a common card, so you're going to get that as you go up pretty quick. I do think I used my razor a little while until I got up to where I was playing Tour 7 and I got my Nirvana, but the switch was pretty quick from machete. Once I got a Nirvana, then the Nirvana was in my bag. So if we check out numbers when they're lower level, you can see like a rough cutter starts off at 75 yards. I mean, that's worse than a short iron. It gets up to 112 when it's maxed out, but even there, that's bad. The Junglist starts off at 97, right around 100, gets up to 124. A lot of numbers there once you get it maxed out that look good, but when it's lower level, it's just that combo of accuracy and ball guide when you're hitting with those far clubs. So the machete's got its issues as well, but one of the things that does help me out in the lower level account is the backspin. Off-roader. When this off-roader gets maxed out, this is the club right here. This is the club that you want once you get it maxed out, it becomes the club to have in the bag as far as stuff. Great ball guide, great accuracy, great power. 135 is the max power that you'll get with a rough iron. So even when you're getting into these levels right here, you're starting to eke up. The accuracy's really good, ball guide's really good, backspin's good, topspin's good, has curl. So the off-roader is definitely the club. Once I get my Nirvana to level 8, I'm not going to worry too much about going to level 9. At level 9, the little bit of topspin, a little bit of backspin, a little bit of curl are not that important. But what is important at level 8 is bumping up from 129 to 135. That's the key right there. That's the whole reason I'm trying to get my Nirvana to level 8. But once I get this club to level 8, I'm not going to work on any other rough irons except for that off-roader. Because getting it up to level 8, that would be the replacement for every club in the bag. So let's talk about how all these clubs work. And I'm going to use a Nirvana as an example. Once you get your Nirvana up to level 5, this is the range you're starting to look for. You've picked up your accuracy. You've got a little bit of topspin and some backspin for it. It's got some curl. It's got good ball guide. Distance is pretty good. Level 6, where it makes that jump from 123 to 129, that's huge. Level 6 is this is a great level right here if you're looking at Nirvana as far as like what level. 129, that's where you get into that distance range. Once again, accuracy is good. Everything's good on that. So let's talk about accuracy and how that works with these clubs. Now, I'm speaking for the clubs that I've used, and I've done the same exact technique with all of them, and it's worked. And right now in my accounts, I'm using either a machete or a Nirvana, and these are the numbers that I do. So first, let's talk about how a normal club works. A normal club, you start off here. This is where the ball is sitting on the ground or sitting on the tee, and you're shooting a long iron. Now, max long iron Goliath is 135. I think on average, we're probably in the 125 range for a long iron. And if you look at power for a Nirvana, we're at 129, 125. So that means that this is a long iron. And your Spitfire at 120 is a long iron. That's what's so cool about these rough iron, this rough iron and sand wedge, is that they're basically long irons in your bag. So your normal long iron, and let's say you had the average long iron and it hits 125. The minimum for a long iron is 90 yards. So that means that, I wish that stuff had quit flashing up there. So 90 and 125. And our mid is going to be somewhere around, let's say 107, 108, somewhere in that neighborhood. 107, 108, somewhere right there. So when we think about, when we're making adjustments with our long iron, our minimum club is at 90. Our maximum club is at 125. And our mid club is at 108. So let's just say that this was a Saturn and we're doing a 2 per ring. We're doing a 3 per ring. I think it's 2.6. So we've got a really tight little window here. Okay, that's long iron. Okay, here's the difference between long iron and rough iron. Here's your starting spot with a rough iron. Here's 129. Okay, and we have this distance. Instead of having just this little teeny window up here where that's our club range, we can hit 1 inch in front of us, because we're in the rough right off the fairway. We can hit 1 inch in front of us to 129 yards. And so the range here is from where your ball is sitting until its maximum distance. So that means your mid club is right here, not way up here. And so if the only numbers that you know with your rough iron are your max numbers, there is a ton of range here on this club. So here's my half, here's 3/4, here's 1/4, here's 5/8, here's 3/8. Now, one of the things that I found with my rough iron is that any of the rough irons I've used or sand wedges that I've used, I take this number right here, the accuracy number, and I divide it by 2. This club hits half as accurate as it says when it's at maximum club. So that means that this is a 50 accuracy club. That means that at max, it's 2 per ring. At 3/4 of a club, I hit at 3 per ring. At 5/8, I hit at 4 per ring. At mid club, I hit at 6. At 3/8, I hit at 8. At 1/4 of a club, I hit at 16. And then anything less than 1/4 of a club, I hit at 4 miles per hour is half the cup. And you make very slight adjustments when you're down here. And you will notice that when you're using a rough iron that your rings up here are like this wide. And your rings down here are like this wide. And so the closer you get it to you, it's just like doing a rapier shot when you're doing that bump and run on a green and you're chipping it in. The closer you can get this, the closer you pull this to you, the smaller those rings get. And you get to the point where 1 ring equals 16 miles per hour of wind. So it is a very small adjustment. That's why when I see people out there and I'm playing one-on-one and they're using a rough iron or a sand wedge and they're coming on and I see them do this 2 or 3 ring pull to adjust out the wind, I know that they're not going to go in the hole because these clubs are super accurate, especially when you start getting them. The closer they are to you, the more accurate that they are. And so using these numbers, that's why if you watch me play in the videos and when I'm using my rough iron and sand wedge, I'm always checking my distance to find out where I'm at, because if I'm at max club, I know it's 2. I know if I'm at mid club, it's 4. I know if I'm right above mid, then I'm in the 3. If I'm right below mid, I'm in the 6. And so I will make an adjustment based off where I'm at in my club. But these numbers right here, and the reason that it hits like this is because of how far that it can go. Same thing with the Spitfire. So if we talk about sand wedges, same exact deal. This club here, it's 65 accuracy. So basically it's 32.5. Let's round that up and say that's 35. So 35 accurate. That's 3 less, so that's 2.7 per ring. So at max, it hits 2.7 per ring. Down here at mid, it's the 4 miles per hour, halfway, 3/4, quarter, 5/8, 3/8. Hold on 1 second. I got this. I already have this drawn out, I think. Hold on 1 second. Where are my photos? Record master. Are they in there? Not likely. Where is it at? Hold on one second. All right, I found it. So here are my numbers for my Spitfire versus my Nirvana. So my Nirvana hit 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 16, and these would be the numbers based off that 65 accuracy for my Spitfire. So at max, it hits 2.3 per ring. At 3/4, it hits 3.45. At 5/8, it hits 4.6. At mid club, it's 6.9. At 3/8 club, it's 9.2. At 1/4 club, it's 18.4. And then anything less than that, same as the Nirvana, it's half a cup equals 4 miles per hour. Now, I will be honest with you and tell you that I don't ever play these, even though I have these numbers on my cheat sheet for my Spitfire, I don't play those numbers. I play for ease of mind, and when I'm playing, I play exactly the same way that I play with my rough iron. I play the 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 16. And I've had a lot of success with it. Typically with my Spitfire, I find that I'm only in one of two range. I'm at max club, or I'm down there somewhere at the 16 per ring or less, and I'm really close. I don't find with my Spitfire that I'm in the middle ranges very often. If you think about where sand traps are out on the course, typically we're either in it and we've got a max shot that we've got to take, or we're in it and we're very close to the green. So I don't worry too much about trying to be absolutely specific on this, because normally I'm either in 2.3 or I'm somewhere down here below the 16 and I'm doing a short little chip in. But these clubs are very accurate when you get close. So if you're doing that short little chip in shot, these clubs are very accurate. But that's how I play my short irons and my rough irons and my sand wedges, is half the accuracy. And then I play them on a much bigger scale because of how the ball, you can hit the ball. You can hit it 1 inch in front of you, or you can hit it 120 yards in front of you. All right, that was a little bit of info on sand wedges and rough irons. Hopefully that will help somebody out. I see a lot of people out on the course that take rough iron and sand wedge shots very nonchalantly. They hit into the rough or they hit into the sand, and then they basically kind of give up and they just drop the ball up on the green and move along, and that's fine. But the deal is that those are super accurate clubs, especially when you're close up. And if you took a little bit of time and set that shot up and had a method for adjusting out the wind on those, you'll be amazed at how often you can sink shots with your rough iron and Spitfire. Now, I will tell you that the one thing that it will absolutely take is perfect shot. You have to hit those shots going in perfect if you want to have any shot, especially when you're at distance. I mean, you absolutely, positively have got to hit them perfect. And the needle's going a little bit faster. So your chances are diminished, but you can increase your odds of putting it in there if you catch it perfect by having some type of method for adjusting out the wind with the rough iron and the sand wedge. All right. Thanks for watching.